Hi stamping friends, Melissa Kerman here with Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. Today I'll be sharing one of my September-October 2019 club and free card kit projects. This project features the Very Versailles and Tasteful Textures stamp sets. I've made two versions of this card. For the Christmas card version, you'll need the Perfectly Plaid stamp set as well. Now this is a fairly simple card. I've essentially created a collage of images using these two stamp sets, Tasteful Textures and Very Versailles. And I've done this card in two different ways. One that's pretty much a neutral card you could use for any purpose, and the other version that's a Christmas card. So to start with the collage, I'm going to stamp my first image from the Tasteful Textures set using Memento ink. Now I'm going to create my collage essentially stamping from the center out. I've stamped it off twice, and now I'm going to stamp it right there in the center so it's showing right above the sentiment. So I've used third inking here so the image is nice and light. Now this image here actually is not symmetrical from top to bottom, and so I have a certain preference for what I think is the top, which I'm showing you there. Now I'm stamping this image in three different spots, sort of to create a bit of a frame, and that image was stamped in full ink using my Memento ink pad, just like for the first image. Next I'm going to stamp my script from the Very Versailles stamp set. Now again I'm using my Memento black ink for this. Now I've stamped it off, and then I'm going to stamp on my paper, so that's second ink, third ink, fourth ink, fifth ink, and sixth ink, seventh ink, and eighth ink. So now I'm just sponging along the edges with my Memento black. So now at this stage I have to decide which direction I'm going to go, either to create my original card, which is the neutral card with the sentiment "good things are sure to happen," or I'm going to decide whether it's a Christmas card. So now if I go the route that you see in my original card, I'm just going to stamp that foliage from Very Versailles in my Memento black. What I'm going to show you in the video here today is my second version, which is the Christmas card. So instead of stamping in the Memento black, I'm going to ink it up with Versamark, which is a clear sticky ink, and I'm going to do images of the foliage in the top right corner, and then I'm going to turn my stamp and do it on the left, again with Versamark, and then some more of the foliage at the bottom. Now I did use my embossing buddy on my focal piece to start with, because next I'm going to heat emboss using my shimmery black embossing powder. So I'm just tapping off the excess, and you can see I did get some specks in places they didn't belong, so I could also grab a paintbrush, a fine tip paintbrush, and brush away any excess specks if I wanted to. And now I'm just pulling in my heat tool to heat emboss those images. So this embossing powder is a little bit different from some others. It's a little bit harder to see as it changes, so you'll want to have it under a light and watch it change. You don't want to overheat it because it can essentially burn the embossing powder, and when that happens it sort of absorbs into the paper and becomes flat and a matte finish instead of being raised and a shiny image. So make sure you have a nice good quality light in your workspace that you can hold your piece under as you heat emboss. So now I've heat embossed my Merry Christmas and punched it out. I've used the Timeless Label Punch for punching out my sentiment. So now I'm going to just start putting together my card. I've put adhesive on the back side of my focal piece or my collage, attached it to a piece of basic black cardstock. Now I've already put adhesive on the back of my basic black layer, and I'm just going to attach it to my real red layer. And then this real red layer also has adhesive on the back side, and I'm using a basic black card body, so I'm just going to attach that whole piece to my card body. I'm putting my sentiment piece on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Now I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to place a couple of real red rhinestones in three different spots on the front of my card. So here are my two cards side by side. You can see that the foliage is shiny and much darker and more black than the version on the left. I hope you've enjoyed my project today featuring the Very Versailles Tasteful Textures and Perfectly Plaid stamp sets. As a reminder, this is one of my club and free card kit projects for September and October 2019. Check out the link in the video description below to learn how you can get free card kits. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. To learn more about what I create and offer, check out the description below this video for lots of information and useful resources. Thanks for joining me today, and happy crafting!